Do you want to talk more about the enzyme-based stuff? Because I think that might be interesting to people who don't know, because I think people are becoming more health conscious.
Correct. So yeah, being enzymes and, as I said, biodegradable. So once you've used the products, you can tip them on the garden. The oven cleaner, I still put it in a small tub with a lid. But yeah, they're amazing products and they last on the surface too. I'm doing an NDIS client at the moment and I go weekly. The first one was a deep clean. The second one was a mild clean. And the third week I came back and I said, I don't think I need to do the biostim. And she said, I don't think you do either.
And was there anything else besides gyms you're looking at, or was it just gyms doing?
I looked at a bunch of things: restaurants, cafes, investing in somewhere, just starting my own business, going back to finance, which I definitely didn't want to do at that point. When gyms came up, I thought I was even looking at the gardening and mowing, but I decided that the cleaning I think would be probably better for me.
Is this your first business as well?
No, I have owned a business with a partner, a panel shop, ironically.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, this is my first one all to myself. As I said, the model, the process, the products, I think everything was quite easy to just sort of slot into. I think it's a well-planned and well-executed model.
So Tracy, thank you for joining us today on the Gyms podcast. And you're from our Gyms Cleaning division as well. How's everything been going with your franchise?
Good afternoon, Joel. It's really good. I'm loving it. I'm into my 5th week at the moment. It's even better than I envisaged, to be honest. So getting lots of clients, mainly by word of mouth or sort of happenstance, but being at a party and showing photos of something I've cleaned and them saying, oh, come and clean my barbecue or my oven or my house. So that's been really good. I've done no advertising. I've only turned leads on, I think, 5, maybe 6 days. The rest of the time I've got work through people or, as I said, done a barbecue or a oven, and then they've asked me to come back and clean the house or their mother's house or something. So, yeah, it's rolling along really well.
That's obviously a credit to you with your quality of work, because that's not always the case sometimes with people when they get started. So to hear that's really, really good, and obviously be a testament to what you're doing. I've never heard of anyone doing lead generation by showing photos at parties of before work. So that's a new one I'm going to keep in mind.
Well, I did do a friend's oven who has asthma and allergies, and I was mentioning that our products, I only use Jim's products, that our products are biodegradable and they're enzymes. And she was really interested in that because she hadn't cleaned her oven, she said, 10 years. Sel and Ali actually have photos of it, which I sent through via Nicole.
Yeah.
So I ended up showing her the all-purpose cleaner, and I said some Dawn detergent and a scraper and some hot water, and she smelt the product from the bottle and said yes, that didn't trigger her asthma or allergies. So she permitted me to clean the oven, and honestly it was black, so I don't know how she actually cooked in it. She said I could use the photos, but it's actually a pinky sort of blue inside. When I started scraping it, I'm like, do you even remember it was this colour? And also her oven door was so soiled that she couldn't see in anymore. So she was so excited. So was her husband. And so I've been back to clean her bathroom since with Jim's products. So she loves it. I love it. I think that's what's making it easy. I was actually saying to someone the other day, I don't feel like I'm selling myself. I'm selling the Jim's products and the process. So I think that's what makes it easy. Maybe some people feel they're selling themselves. I'm not sure, but
yes. Do you want to talk more about the enzyme-based stuff? Because I think that might be interesting to people who don't know, because I think people are becoming more health conscious in their home if they've got asthma and kids and stuff like that. And
100%.
I think clean products, like with people actually knew what are in some of these things, or what gets used with obviously bleach and stuff, that might take you a bit of a change of attitude with what, and actually ask the cleaner or ask whoever's doing the home, what are you actually using? So do you want to just talk a bit about it in detail with what you're talking about?
Correct. So yeah, being enzymes and, as I said, biodegradable. So once you've used the products, you can tip them on the garden. Still, when I do the oven cleaner, I still put it in a small like a removal tub with a lid, just that pets or whatever won't get into it, I suppose, more than anything. But yeah, they're amazing products and they last on the surface too. I'm doing an NDIS client at the moment and I go weekly. The first one was a deep clean. The second one was a mild clean. And so the second clean was just a sort of a weekly. And the third week I came back and I said, I don't think I need to do the biostim. And she said, I don't think you do either. So I was quite surprised how fantastic. The bathroom looked. So I did this a really quick clean on all the surfaces and, of course, did the toilet and basin. But everything else was amazing, like still so shiny. So I do understand that the enzymes sort of keep working and I think improve or layer might be a good word, layer over time. You definitely don't get the smells that you get from the caustic products. I do put gloves on for your toilet. But other than that, I really don't even wear gloves. So it doesn't affect, there's nothing to affect your skin. I get hay fever. So I think if it's really pungent can affect me as far as chemicals. So I don't really use them myself. So that's why I decided from the get-go to be just purely Jim's products. And as I said, everybody who smells them, comes into their house after it's been cleaned are so happy with everything about the products. Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, I use them at home myself, Tracy, so I'm a bit familiar with them. But yeah, they don't smell, and they obviously that's a big thing for us. They don't have that toxic fumes, and they can wash down the sink and all that sort of stuff. It's they're great, and with the enzyme, from what I know, is they just keep eating away over time, and it gets easy to actually clean over time.
That's exactly right. So another lady, which I'm seeing fortnightly, we're now starting to do sort of some other tasks which she hadn't been able to get to for quite a while. So I'm like, that's all done. That was really quick and really easy. And the glassware and everything's just so easy to clean the second, third, fourth time.
Yep.
So yeah, 100% agree, Joel. They're amazing products. And I think it's a good process too. It's for me, it's been, I used to be in finance and a sit down desk job. So it's quite a different process for me, but I love it. And I think the model's mapped out very well. And I decided very early, I don't know if you ever saw the film Yes Man with Jim Carrey, but I decided I'm going to be Yes Woman, whatever the Jim said or the process said or the franchise all said. Nicole, she's fantastic. I would follow 100%. Yeah, I think that's worked for me, that people can see I'm enthusiastic about the product and my franchise. So I do think that sort of sells itself a little bit as well.
And that was it's not my first question, but I was going to actually ask you, so what were you doing prior to doing this with Jim's? Was it a finance job and then you're doing this, or what was it?
Yeah, finance. Yeah, finance for a long time. So business process re-engineering I used to do some global projects for a company. So yeah, accounts payable, credit cards, travel, all sorts of the support areas. Also, I've been in procurement, finance, payroll, done a lot of different roles. But yeah, I was looking for a change, sold my house and came and rented in Beaumaris and was looking for just something totally different and looked at investments and other things I could do. This popped up and I put in an offer, and Nicole contacted me almost immediately, I think, or certainly the next day. And I met with her and the model sounded great. The process, the price was right for me. And I thought that'd be good for me to get physical rather than sitting behind a desk anymore.
Yeah.
And also get on the road. I like to listen to music. So ironically, I don't listen to music when I clean. I feel like I just get in the zone and go and then sort of pop out the other end. Yeah, I found it really fun to do and quite cathartic, actually. I don't know if that makes sense, but to go into someone's house and have them, for want of a better word, share their soul or the parts that maybe aren't all that pretty, if that makes sense, and that you can fix them and make them feel good about themselves and about their home or business or shop, whatever it is, when you walk out. It's really good. So I feel good and I can see they feel good.
And was there anything else besides Jim you're looking at, or was it just Jim's dream?
Oh, yeah, no, I looked at a bunch of things, restaurants, cafes, investing in somewhere, just starting my own business, going back to finance, which I definitely didn't want to do at that point. So, yeah, a lot of things. Yes. And as I said, when Jim's came up, I thought I was even looking at the gardening and mowing, but I decided that the cleaning, I think, would probably be better for me. And yeah, I think then you got the physical aspect and, as I said, a good model. Nicole made it sound very enticing and a lot of good opportunities. And I think I'm seeing them already. So yeah, it's definitely even ahead of the trajectory that I thought I'd be on at this point in time.
Awesome. And then how did you find the training coming from a corporate career for so long? How did you do?
Really good. I've raved about it. Ironically, I went to, sadly, a funeral a couple of weeks after I started. And so one of my prior companies, the heads of a lot of functions were there. And they were like, what are you doing here? You look great. Oh, by the way, I've lost like 20 kilos since I left
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah. So but I look quite different, and I certainly feel honestly, I think I'm the happiest I've been in 20 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really good. But they were all, oh, okay, that's really interesting. Tell me more about it. And everybody I said that about the induction session and the software, and I know people who design softwares and stuff and senior programmers and things, they were really impressed with the software and I think the usability of it. And then the rest were astounded that Jim actually speaks, opens and closes the induction sessions. Very few companies do that. And certainly him giving his personal mobile and email, you can actually use it. Whereas I think a lot of companies, if they said his big boss's number, I'm sure someone in HR or executive assistant would have a quiet word and say, but don't ever ring it.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think that's amazing that he's makes himself available, and also everyone's been astounded about the fact that Jim takes all the complaints. I think that's unheard of in a large organization. So yeah, and that really rings true with me, that he's making sure his ethos and the model is reinforced across all levels, which again is not something that happens.
No, it's nice. The main part of his day, he spends most of his time doing with complaints, unfortunately, sometimes. So, because we've got so many franchisees, but yeah, that's the way he keeps in touch with the system, and things that keep coming up, he can then make changes based on what he
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And it's not filtered either then. He's not getting someone's version of it. Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah, and the customers always get surprised and they don't think it's Jim because he doesn't have like a really fancy email signature. It's just Jim, right? And in the end, he writes a one-liner or something. They don't know if it's him or not. But I was going to say, first week you started, so you're in your own. Is this your first business as well?
No, I have owned a business with a partner, a panel shop, ironically.
Oh, wow.
And worked in a family business in the past. My father was an electrical contractor, so have done that. But yeah, this is my first one all to myself. And as I said, the model, the process, the products, I think everything was quite easy to just sort of slot into. Having maybe the finance background, it was reasonably easy on the app and stuff. But yeah, I think it's a well-planned and well-executed model. Definitely.
And how's the first week? Like, that first quote, the first lead that comes through?
Yeah, it was pretty scary, actually. Yeah. It's interesting how, sort of I'm a big chicken. But I did a few for friends where, as I said, they'd seen photos of things I'd already done. I'd done my barbecue and other bits and pieces here to show people what the products could do. And I suppose to reinforce to myself that how they worked and in what sort of order I wanted to apply them. It was really pretty easy. I've got to say, everybody, as I said, the photos really have sold themselves, the photos and the products, and the fact it's biodegradable. As you said, there's a lot in my territory who are very conscious of that, either for children or aged parents or themselves having allergies or anxieties even. Some people, I think, post-COVID are triggered by some things that maybe they weren't in the past. So they've been really impressed with the smell and the look of the products, I think, which again has made it easy.
And building your business, how have you, like you mentioned it at the start, but I think it's going to be great for new franchisees to hear, because I know Jim was quite impressed because after every 30 days, Jim sends an email to people and you responded to it. And that's why Jim normally forwards them to me and goes, interview these people so we can share what you're doing. So you mentioned a little bit at the start, but like, what would you put it down to so you have your early success so far? Is it just attitude, the way you speak to people?
Well, I think I'm probably a natural networker. And again, I feel like I'm not selling myself. I'm selling the product and the process and the franchise as much as myself. So it doesn't feel like I'm sort of having to stretch myself, if you want. But I think people see that I love the job. I honestly love it. I've never been happier. So I think that infection comes across to people. I actually had one lady who I'd quoted to do her oven. And when I got there to do it, it was a beautiful Elve oven with 3-sided blue glass splashback. When I finished it, she said she'd had the oven for 6.5 years, and I was just not quite. When she went to pay me, she said, "Oh no, I'm not paying you that." And I thought, "Oh no, why is she going to pay me?" And she said, "No, the money you've quoted me is too low. I just watched everything you did, so you have to charge me more." And after that, oh, that's hilarious. So I went from being, "Oh no, I've done something wrong," to, "Wow, she's so excited." Ironically, she said, "I'm not sure I want to cook on it now because I love how it looks." And a friend of mine's barbecue who saw my barbecue, he cooks for his late teens, early 20s son, both 20s now, sons, and he uses it 3 to 4 two to four times a week, depending on the weather. And he hadn't cleaned it in over 4 years. And he saw my photos at a Cup Day party and said, come clean mine. So I went over and it was quite a mess. A beautiful Weber barbecue. And when I cleaned it, he's a man of few words. And I actually thought he was going to cry. He took photos and video and apparently posted it to Instagram because my son saw it. He follows him on Insta. So I texted him about a week later and said, so what was the first thing you cooked? And he said, I'm still admiring it. I haven't cooked anything yet.
Well, you reckon the people using these ovens and barbecue cleaners do so good job?
Yeah, I do. I think they're astounded how good it makes the surfaces look. And yeah, as I said, the oven, I'm sure you'll see the ones that Ali's got. That they look great, smell great, and give a great result. So people want to see then other services, I suppose. So I thought I would be having to really sort of not hard sell, but maybe go to the local shops and offer to do barbecues for $99 or something like that. But it's almost been the complete opposite. From the first few I did, people, it's just rolled. And then once I do that, I get other options to do cleaning, or I see one client, and as I said, they then say my parents are aged care or NDIS or something and refer me across. So yeah, I feel like I don't know. I love what I'm doing. So maybe that does come across. Maybe people feel that and don't feel, I don't know about shame's probably not the right word, but as I said, people are revealing their messiest spaces.
So they're inside their home. It's a personal space. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, so maybe I make them feel relaxed. Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you though, you said something before and I asked you about it is also, you're talking through the process. So you're not just going through looking and then giving a quote. There's obviously other stuff you're doing. So for other franchisees or other people, what's your sort of step, like your process with what you're walking them through with?
So if it's a lead, I try and ring them back as soon as I can. Sometimes I've been in the midst of a job and missed the initial comment, and then I can hear Jim's voice going, your call has not been answered.
Oh, yeah.
And
jobs.
And also I made a mistake the first day. I was answering just straight through my phone off the text message. And then I realized I forgot I had to go into the app and tick that. So I've got that down pat now. But yeah, I think the process is pretty easy as far as the leads. And then for the direct jobs, when I received a call or had a referral from someone I knew or at a party or whatever it was, I give them my business card, say that I could come and do a quote. Or if they were positive, like an oven or a barbecue, I would just say, this size I've done before and it was approximately this price, but I'd need to see yours and the status of it. And I think I then learned also to ask more clarifying questions. How old is the oven or barbecue or whatever the house? When was the last time it was professionally or fully deep cleaned, I suppose, those sorts of things. So that helped me a lot more with my quoting. And also with the vacate cleans, my first one of those, I underestimated. I did go and look at the site first, and it was a really nice house, very clean, big 4 or 5 bedroom, 3 bath. It was a big house. I underestimated the time it was going to take me. So when I got there, they must have had spices or something in the upper cupboards, which had really, I think it was turmeric or something like that. They'd gone like egg in these cupboard shelves. And I thought, okay, next time have a look in the top cupboards, have a better look around, and set that price point a little bit better. But that was probably great to do in that first week, or I went, I'll never do this again.
I think every gym's franchisee does it. So I think it's very normal.
Yeah.
It's very, very normal. Yeah.
So that was a really good learning experience. And as I said, finding people were so excited about the outcome of the whatever it was I'd cleaned. And look, I'm probably a bit ADHD or something. So I do. So back to that Elvay oven, I got home. So when I left, she said, I thought she said she had the oven for 6.5 years, but she'd bought the house 6.5 years ago. And when I got home, I was thinking about the oven, how beautiful it was. There had been little marks on the rings that I just couldn't get off in that time. And must have been there for probably 7 years. So I got home and an hour later, I thought, I'm going to have to go back. So when I was doing my friend's oven, the one that hadn't been cleaned for 10 years, I went and dropped everything of hers in the bath, took everything apart. And then I texted the lady that I would swing by and drop her rings back into the cooktop rings back into her bath and come back again. And I got them off and took this fabulous, I'll send you that photo as well. And she was like, "Oh my God, they were on like that since I started, since she bought the house." And I said, "Yeah, but it was annoying me." So maybe I think it's also nice to, if it's something that you wouldn't like, then to go above and beyond. So if you've quoted for 2 hours and you made a mistake and it takes you 3.5, then you still do the work. So that's how I work anyway. That's on me. So again, and I wouldn't expect them to pay me more if I'd misquoted or underestimated, I think. Unless there was a hidden something, that's different. You could discuss or negotiate with them. But yeah, I try and stick to my I suppose what I think is right.
Awesome. And have you got some regulars at the moment as well?
Yeah, I do. I think I have 9. I'm just about to have 10, I think.
Oh, cool.
Regulars. Yeah. Maybe even 11. I haven't counted, to be honest. But yeah, quite a few have rolled over from just a one-off to regulars. Yeah. And I did a salon in Beaumaris, whose people I've known for years. One of the hairdressers there was so impressed with the basin and everything that I cleaned and all the hoses and splashback tiles that they had, that he said, "Come and clean his house." So yeah, I think when people can see you're happy and they like, I said, the finish and the products, that then they want you to do more.
I think it's one of the services, like in gyms anyway, like a good cleaner, like, people do really take notice of a good cleaner because you're coming into their personal space. And I think if you do have a good cleaner, it's the one sort of thing you want to refer people because of that trust factor as well. And the standards that you do.
True. And I think also for me, as I said, with the barbecues and the ovens, the men are happy, and you can see that they probably open the barbecue and the other guy will go, "What is going on here?" And women, it could be both. And the same with whoever's cooking in the house. I think if they open the oven, because I think there's things that a lot of people go, I want it clean, but I don't know I want to clean it.
But it's a great sample for that. Like, it's almost like a taster for what else you can do for the home, right? So
100%, yeah.
If you're going to do all that good job with that detail on that piece of equipment or that oven or the barbecue, imagine what you do the rest of the home. And I think it's good taste for people to get into the service.
Yes, I agree. Yeah.
Because people, as you said, people would hate doing it, and especially the toxic chemicals that I know people sometimes might use to do ovens in particular, and you've got to have the high things and there's all these fumes and it's not good.
Yeah, and masks and the whole, you feel like you've got to have a hazmat suit on to do it. So yeah, I didn't want to put myself in that space or my clients. If someone said they, wanted me out of the house quicker and can you do it faster, if I was quoting, I'd probably say no. But if I was there and they said, "Look, I'm pressed for time," and they had a product that they wanted me to use, I'm not sure. I haven't reached that point yet. If I do, I'll let you know. But I think my preference would be to say no, and that maybe they need a different cleaner who gets to use those products.
Yeah, I'm sure. And that's the business you want to build as well, on the client base too, because if a client base is not understanding the process and why you're using that, and it obviously puts you at risk too. But I was going to say, well, you mentioned the word support before from Nicole. So is that, what types of support is that? Is that just phone support or what's
no, everything.
Sort of support?
Phone support, meeting face to face. Yeah, just everything. Email, text messages, follow-ups. She's really responsive and really helpful and really friendly. I like her a lot. And I think she was probably the clincher for me to lock in almost immediately.
Cool.
Yeah, and clear set out documentation, and she was like, "Oh yeah, here's this contract and that," and get a chance to read it. I go, "I've already read it." So I think being across it, and I think when I went to the first meeting with her, I came with about 10 questions because I'd done that other research with other companies. I think I knew what gaps I had or what I was unsure about, and she calmed all my fears straight away. It was really good.
Good to hear. Nicole's great. I know Nicole well, and she's got a good story herself. But I think having a good relationship with the franchisor is really important with the franchise, and I think people need to, if they're looking at businesses, not only the system's good, but do you get along with the franchisor? I think that's crucial.
Yes, true. And I also was lucky at the induction session. We made a little alliance, myself and 2 other, one actually who's not with Nicole and another young lady who is with Nicole. And we decided early days that we sort of chat to each other and, encourage each other as well. Yep. So that's been nice. And, both I've employed or hired to do some work with me or for me. So that's been good as well to enrich that. So I also think, so back to the induction session, I made a point of reaching out. So I think there was about 75 or 80 people at our induction. And I made a point, I would say I reached out to 35, maybe 40 people over that 4 days to introduce myself and find out more about them and their different franchises. And, you know, I know we've got the referral listing in the portal, but more so just to know I met that person rather than just somebody in a list. So I think maybe for people who aren't doing that, reaching out to your other gyms, franchisees, or even saying, I'm quiet at the moment, can I do work for you or learn from you in addition to the regional trainers, I think is good as well, acknowledging that maybe you do have some gaps that you could get help with.
Yeah, I think being proactive and taking that proactive steps is the key, not just sitting back. And I think that's what from the sound of it, you've absolutely done with networking and an initiative like that. And that's obviously held in good stead too. But I was going to say as well, with the business itself, like what are you planning to do with yours? Like are you hoping to scale to a number for regular customers or?
Yeah, I think, as I said, I haven't hardly turned on the lead. So
which is amazing for me to hear, because I know I interview a lot of franchisees and cleaning, mowing, sometimes, you know, you obviously get the double leads at the start from your franchisee. And then most people maybe, you know, hopefully after a while they can turn off. But to be turned off already is quite remarkable.
Yeah. So, and if I have turned them on, I've often clipped the time or the amount of leads I'll get. And I think I've had 16 leads in those 5 days. And I converted, I think, 13, maybe even 13 of them, I'll say definitely, to actual jobs. I do think being quick, responsive, and again, selling the product and the process and being enthusiastic, I think does make a difference, or sounding like you really do care. I think I said to my son a while back when I first started doing this, something about people can tell when you smile on the phone. And he said, no, they don't. I said, yes, they can. They can tell if you're, not in the mood for it, if you want. So, yeah.
You know, it's so important. I agree with you, Tracy. It's so important. Like I've used multiple people before, and gyms people, non-gyms people, and you can just tell with the phone. You're right. You can tell on the phone if they actually wanted it, or, you know, you're bothering them, or that sort of thing, right? And attitude is everything, right? And your conversion rate's obviously a reflection of that, because 13 out of 16 leads is a great conversion rate, especially in cleaning where I guess there would be a lot of people just maybe price shopping and stuff like that. So they have high conversion rates, obviously accrete to your phone manner and how quickly you call people back. And it sounds like it's obvious that everyone would do it, but a lot of some people don't. But I think what you're just saying then is just do the basics right and have some enthusiasm, a good attitude, and it takes you a long way.
Yeah, correct, 100%. Yeah, well, I'm proof that it
it does. I can just tell from the interview. It's great. It's really, you can just tell why you're already successful in your business too. But with anyone looking at doing what you're doing, because changing career after a long time is not easy. There's obviously an identity shift which happens.
Correct,
so, what would you sort of say to someone maybe looking at doing what you've done, or advice for them?
I'd say embrace it 100%. I mean, talk to your franchisor, speak to other franchisees like me. My number's available if someone wants to talk to me in more detail, if they've got questions as well. But yeah, trust the process, the products, the equipment, immerse yourself in the induction session and take notes maybe.
Definitely take notes. We do have an intranet as well where they're all...
True. But writing stuff down, I think, does transfer it from your new memory to more short-term memory to long-term memory. So I think that's helped as well. I think I had about 40 pages of notes from the 4-day inductions.
That's unheard of. Yeah.
I know. I showed Nicole. She's like, I'm not surprised. But yeah, that just helped reinforce. And then I had little, like a checkbox. I had little check boxes on the things that Sal or Jim or one of the trainers had said to make sure we followed up. And then as I went through later on, I ticked them off that I had done them or had applied or completed the form or whatever it was needed. So I think that again reinforces the process, and the functions.
Well, it works. You credit to it. You follow the system beautifully and doing well already. And it's great. It's great to see how happy you are. And
I am. I'm so happy. It's good. Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to hear, and we love hearing that as well from someone so new, doing trainings to having great success, and it marries up to the expectations as well, or surpass them. So that's for us to hear as well. And Jim will be wrapped. Thank you very much for your time today, Tracy. Looking forward to the photos as well. I'm going to put those photos on those clips.
I will
see a few Instagram reels or something with your oven clips on there as well, and you can
no worries. Well,
use
thank
that.
you.
No worries. Thanks, Tracy. Thank you for listening to the episode of the Gyms podcast. If you want to learn more about the Gyms Group, head to gyms.net or call us on 131 546 Australia or 0800 454 654 New Zealand. And if you did like the episode as well, please make sure you leave a review or a comment or a thumbs up or a comment on the video as well. We appreciate your support. And until next episode, we hope you have a great week.